What's going on, guys? This comes kind of out of nowhere. At the same time, I think it's kind of crazy that people were going to hate on it regardless because Dragon's Dogma only runs at 30 frames per second. Now, for PC players, it kind of seems like it might not be optimized right, which is kind of okay. I get, if you're going to hate it on that. Because here's my thing. Batman, if you don't remember, kind of was hated on for a while because it was not optimized for shit. I think it goes without saying, if you cannot play a game, obviously you're not going to like it. But I'm going to say something that I just don't think makes any sense, and is actually, or makes a little bit less sense. The fact that it went from mostly negative to mixed, and it's almost entirely because of this. Now, you notice I don't have it purchased. That's because I have it on PlayStation. But right here, this is where everybody's hating on it, a good chunk. At least that's where a lot of these reviews, these negative reviews come from. They talk about, well, this one's actually because somebody's trying to help somebody out with like some video stuff, but hey, Capcom, you can purchase a good review DLC for $1.99. That's it. That's all they got to say because they're just, babies. This one says poop. They're at 1.7 hours in. 4 hours in somewhat makes sense. This one, 0.2 hours because of this. Now, if you don't know what this stuff is, the tamper protection stuff like that, it's like DRM stuff. It's just a bunch of bullshit. All games, like almost all games that have them anyway, are all garbage. This person got a product refund. It says disappointment, absolute disappointment. First refund I've ever requested on Steam, which I bet they're lying. Hundreds of games. This is the first one. Very sad. You've had to have only bought like 5 games. I haven't played it yet, but if it runs anything like the first one, yeah, it's not going to be the best, but it's still going to play well. Low settings on a high-end computer, and it's still unplayable. Bet you're full of shit. Because the thing is, I've heard plenty of people also say the opposite. So I'm going to have to guess either some of these people are just trash talking to trash talk because the game's a little unoptimized, which I get. I'm not even going to say it ain't. And like this one, I have not played enough to, have a review. You can only make one character and you can't even delete your save, which I guess this is a PC problem. And then they said the expensive microtransactions in this expensive game, $2 for changing character pairs. By the way, yeah, play the game more. If you got to change your character in the first 2 hours and you ain't really explored the game, you are the problem from the original game. That's literally the issue they had. People just did not understand the first game. Because I'm going to be honest, I didn't see a lot of people play it. It was like a cult classic. I assume that's why it took 12 years for us to get any jack shit on it. And this one, online shop and a single player game. It happens all the time. I don't know where this is coming from. At this point, you can't really even define a bad game on microtransactions. They happen in a lot of single player games. Like I said, Batman, nothing but skins. Microtransactions. I mean, you're not going to hate that game. You're going to play the shit out of it. You probably, like me, have tried to buy all the skins. I bought a collector's complete edition. So I got everything without having to pay extra. Microtransactions. $1.99 to edit your appearance. It's not $1.99, by the way. You can go do it for free. This is my game of the year. One of the best games I ever played. Negative review is for the Den of Up. Okay, you have a real reason. This guy right here, he's got a real reason to hate the game. Is this. That's fine. Perfectly understandable. If you enjoyed the first game, you will love this one. They have taken everything from the first game they did and improved upon it. That being said, there are still some issues. Yes, I would probably agree. There's always issues in games when they first come out. When you enter large cities, such as Vernath, you will lose some frames. Had to mute my phone. 60 frames to 30 frames. I have seen many creators say this is a memory leak issue that can be easily patched later, so that's fine. Maybe we'll get patched. I mean, shit happens. In regards to microtransactions, it's unfortunate that they exist. However, every item apart from the character edit item is extremely easy to obtain. Now, Steam is usually full of salty people anyway. Most people are on Steam. They're these super hyper fixated people on like having the high-end PCs to bitch about something not running at 500 frames per second. Their 4K may have had a frame drop for a second because they spent $10,000 on a PC. I like how this is down here. Incorporates third-party DRM, de novo anti-tampering. 5 different PC within a day machine activation limit. I think it's stupid. You bought it. You should be able to put it on anything. Because, I mean, it's digital, so it's a little harder to deal with. Because all these aren't the legitimate arguments, except for, well, a few of them talking about the DRM, which is fine. DRM is kind of just shit. Nobody's done it right. DRM's always like having a big issue. And see, this is another thing. So I bought the deluxe edition. So this is stuff I didn't know was coming with it. I normally, on a game I really can't wait to play, I buy the deluxe edition. That's just who I am. So to show you what came with the deluxe edition, I didn't know this, but it says, Dragon's Dogma 2 and Boon for Adventurers. I didn't know It came with a few extra things. I thought, Boon wasn't, a whole lot, but this is what it came with. I'll go ahead and go to view all, make it a little easier. I got 1,500 Rift Crystals. Now, if you're saying, well, you paid for, Rift Crystals, you get them. You can get Rift Crystals from doing literally anything. You can take a shit in the bushes and jack off in the middle of the road. You get Rift Crystals. Every time you go saving an inn, at least the original, I'm sure they carried that stuff over. If your pawn comes back, and I say comes back, because people can use pawns. If they come back from an adventure, guess what? You get Rift Crystals. Happens all the time. In fact, that's my one argument. I hate Rift Crystals. They're so damn expensive to use on shit. But obviously, I don't have the other ones. Here's another thing. Here's the Adventurer's Boon, which, yeah, that's where it comes with all this shit that's purchased. Which is going to be these little, small items. But you can buy the deluxe edition. Get a few things, I guess, technically free. I mean, you'd be getting them for a couple bucks off. But I just don't see the argument. These are things you don't have to have. There's plenty of games that have it. Now, single player games, plenty of games have those. Like I've already said, this one, here's Batman. It's got microtransactions. It literally has 24 of them. It's right on the cuff. And a lot of their shit, honestly, is not as useful as like Rift Crystals, which Rift Crystals are, a dime a dozen. You can get a bunch of them. It's pointless to even argue that. But like this, you got the original Arkham Batmobile, which, by the way, I believe you can't even use but in certain sections of the game anyway. This, Most Wanted expansion. It was great, but, I mean, that should have been the core game. $10, you get a pretty decent amount of stuff. And then you get more skins and skins and skins and more skins. The skins don't do anything. It just makes it look different. Am I against it? Not 100%. I think some things can kind of work out with microtransactions for like, post-game ads, add-ons, which I get. That's fine. But here's the thing. This one, which started out as shit, it was completely unoptimized on PC. So for people hating it for not being optimized, fine. Right here. Very positive, overwhelmingly positive as of recent. Still blowing up. People love it. I don't think it's over. I think we still have, plenty of opportunity left that will probably work. They need to patch it. Obviously, that's with any game. That's the one argument I think anyone should have, but at this point, it's almost like kind of pointless. Is that, they gotta, they shouldn't have brought it out in an unfinished game. Now, we're in 2024. There's no such thing as a finished game ever at all. Like, think about Helldivers. Yeah, it's online, but it was the simple thought of, timing people out of servers was not a thing. Kind of a big, little bit of a goof, and it was a huge problem. Helldivers is doing amazing. People still love it. Like I said, I'm not saying if you put a negative review that you're just wrong and you shouldn't put one. I think review bombing, which is what it kind of looks like if you're bitching about dumb shit, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, knock the score down, definitely. But trying to post it down is basically like a 0 or a 1 because you can pay $1.99 for an item a little early. Just don't buy the item early. Go get everything. Just go earn it. I mean, the game is so long and expansive, it doesn't even matter. There's been so many games that came out with like early unlocks for no damn reason that it was pointless to even do them. But they sold them anyway and people bought them up. And I mean, they're just jerking off to it. Maybe I just have too much heart into this game and really wanting it. I don't know. Maybe it's just nostalgic to me because when I first got to see the original game, it was so amazing. And this one I've just been waiting on. If it's the same storyline, which I'm sure it's going to be similar, it's at least going to have similar effects because you played the first one, spoiler alert, it's more like time-ish, like time kind of repeats itself. Probably just a gameplay mechanic, but overall the game's amazing, the original game. So I'm assuming this one's going to go in pretty much the same. Everybody's going to like it. It's going to get patched. It's going to get fixed. Capcom fumbles often, but they never really make, just horrible shit. They just fumble. At least in a lot of the games I played. Now, I'm not saying all their games, are perfect. I'm not saying they haven't fumbled any games. At least the games I ever played. Resident Evil, definitely something that's, strong on their back. They've done good with. This is the second iteration of a game in I don't know how long. But I think I've rambled on long enough. I'm just kind of, clearing up my own thought on this that I just think it's too early for people to be shitting on it so hard and just like getting super pissed off over $1.99 that they just don't have to spend. Is it dumb of them? Yeah. Does it deserve a super low, score? No, that's being petty and childish. Definitely put it at a 3 or a 4 and say, yeah, no, you're an idiot for doing that. Because does the game look good? Yes. Does it play well? I don't know about PC, but PlayStation looks like it's playing good. And if that was the comments, was that, yeah, it's piss poor performance. All the negative reviews was piss poor performance or DRM is garbage. You 100% have an argument. But for stuff that you don't even have to look at or purchase or have anything to do with the game, yeah, no, you're just being a whiny little baby and you didn't even look into the game that much. And if you spent 4 hours and you couldn't get around to it, I'm assuming you either didn't enjoy the game anyway because you just don't like games like that. But if you're just dogpiling on the game and you only made it a few hours in, I just assume you're probably a child and you just don't know a whole lot about games that much. You probably exclusively play Call of Duty or Roblox, probably even Fortnite. Okay games, but I assume because you're not getting, to dress up like Shrek, you're getting pissed off. Or your ADHD brain makes you think, every 5 seconds, I gotta change my character. You don't have to. Create a character, enjoy the whole game. I just don't see the point in where you have to be, babied the whole time on stuff like that. It's like, oh, I don't get to change my character at the, drop of a dime because I made my character, now I think it looks stupid. Well, if you're that early in the game, now, delete it and start over. Which I will say PC has an argument. Apparently they can't delete it and just start over. So I get that. That's a little bit shitty. And yeah, that should be patched. So there's another argument that I hardly see anybody complaining about. I'm seeing a handful of them. The rest is just people leaving negative reviews and then going to go clean their diaper because they pissed themselves. I think I rambled long enough. Probably going to get a lot of hate on this video, but I really don't give a shit. It's just how I felt about it. But that's about all I can say. Y'all have a good one.